Okay, a very good evening to all of you. The panelists, starting with Rama Garu, who's representing the Government of Telangana. We have Ritu Haldar from NASSCOM Foundation. And I have two of my colleagues, Sudeep and Kriti, who are also connected to this webinar. We are expecting one more panelist, Jatinder Kautish from Capgemini. And he would join us in any moment. But a very warm welcome to the student community, which has joined us in huge numbers. We have about 300 plus students connected to this webinar. Thank you so much for taking our time and being interested in this challenge. It's really a proud moment for us to engage with the bright minds of the tomorrow, who will be working on various kinds of challenges, and we hope climate change is a challenge that you've resonated with, and hence you have responded to this opportunity. At a high level, we really think there's a lot of attention that needs to be put towards climate change. It's important. And a lot of work is being done in this particular area. But we felt that while we're working on a problem like climate change, it is also important to look at how do we inculcate the spirit of entrepreneurship. How do we nurture the future, which is really you, the students, in order to consider entrepreneurship as a potential career path. And an opportunity like this allows you to apply your technical skills that you're gaining in the college and to apply to a real problem, a problem which is of interest to various government officials as well as common citizens like you and me. And in that process, if you feel solving problems like this is exciting enough, then entrepreneurship could potentially be considered as a career path. What is more important is for you to look at the fact that there is going to be monetary support, something which is part of this challenge. You've seen the website. Most of you would have seen the website. About 10 lakh rupees would be provided to the top 10 teams. And this is essentially to make sure that you have the necessary financial support to consider starting up. But more importantly, it's the fact that the industry and various stakeholders from the industry, and which include Capgemini and various industry leaders, along with a few startup and ecosystem enablers, will be working very closely with the top 10 student teams, so that the journey into entrepreneurship is seamless and is made easier with the collective experience that everybody will bring. So the idea is really to look at this opportunity for you to potentially foray into starting up. That would be our objective, while at the same time we're trying to solve a very important problem, a problem of climate change. My name is Praveen. I didn't introduce myself, but I am the lead for Telangana AI Mission. Telangana AI Mission is an entity which has been set up by the Government of Telangana and is powered by NASSCOM. The objective of Telangana AI Mission is essentially how do we position the state of Telangana as one of the leading hubs for leading hubs for artificial intelligence globally. And that is our mandate. And we work with various kinds of stakeholders. And we definitely believe that students are an integral part of everything that we do. And grand challenges of this kind, especially for the student community, is extremely important. But other than this, we work with the public sector, with various government departments. We work with the industry. We work with startups. We support about 142 startups, AI startups from around the country. And if you're looking for inspiration, they are not far away. And even to the top 10 teams, I'm sure we'll be very happy to make introductions to some of the relevant ones. Hopefully, they will inspire you even more to start up. And then, of course, skilling is a very important aspect of our agenda, and we will continue to push that. And if there are any questions around that, we'll be happy to answer. But I don't want to take away too much time because the central objective of this webinar is really to help you understand more about this challenge, hear from the various stakeholders that are attached to this challenge, and at the same time understand really what is it that you could do in order to be one of the top contenders when it comes to being successful for this particular challenge. So without further ado, I would like to first invite Ritu Haldar from NASSCOM Foundation, one of our core partners for this challenge, to provide her address, a quick address in terms of what she thinks they would want to do as NASSCOM Foundation. They're very closely associated with us, but for the student community, I think it's important for you to understand what NASSCOM Foundation does. But I'll leave it to you, Ritu. Over to you, and please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Praveen, and good evening, everyone. My pleasure to be part of this event today, the Grand Challenge. And this is the foundation, of course, engages in development programs across various focus areas. And we're extremely proud to be working on the Telangana AI mission with the Telangana government. And of course, none of this would be possible without the support of student communities and entrepreneurs who are taking part in these various engagements, trying to showcase AI that can help solve real-time problems for the government. And that's the entire intention of the development agenda. Having said that, and also the brief that Praveen mentioned in terms of the winners of the many teams from the 400 plus now students who are logged into this event. I think the entrepreneurial space, and especially the tech entrepreneurial space, is one profession where failure can be worn as a badge. It's not really, it doesn't necessarily mean you failed at anything. It just means, well, you need to work a little more on your solution. And so maybe if not for this event, for another one, as long as you keep the spirit of entrepreneurship alive and understand the extent to which your solutions can help, all of us, mankind as a whole, I think that's a job effectively done. So despite the winners, don't lose heart. Stay focused in your entrepreneurial venture. The foundation works on multiple development programs across skilling, across women entrepreneurship, across innovation, and so on. And I'd be happy to share with you. You can look at the website actually to see what are the various areas. This is one particular project that we're extremely proud to be associated with the only government in the country. We've tried to work with other state governments, but it's only the Telangana government that has really supported us in terms of bringing industry and academia and students together. And so greatly value that, and thank you very much. And I wouldn't take more of your time. Over to you, Praveen.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your message. And the spirit of entrepreneurship is so very valid. And I really hope the students that are listening in take home that as one of the key messages from today. Thanks again. I have next our other panelist, Jatinder Kautish, also as known as Jatin, representing Capgemini. Jatin, if you're able to hear us, I would request you to take over the stage and give us your address. Jatin?
Hi, everyone. Sorry for the late. First of all, just back-to-back meetings is a working day, so struggling with, apology for the late. Yeah. So yeah, brief intro. I'm part of artificial intelligence and machine learning group of Capgemini, and Capgemini is a leader quadrant since 7 to 8 years in AI data science. So I am a senior director and chief architect in AI, working on many solutions, architectures, and sustainability is one of the priority of Capgemini for 2022 and 2023. So a lot of rigor, focus is there from the Capgemini perspective as well. So when we talk about the sustainability, one thing comes in our mind that it is all with respect to the climate, which is impacting the climate and all. But even beyond that, if we just you double click the sustainability can impact the people as well, right? So sustainability also impact your profitability as well. So I remember last month when I was booking my flight internally, so you have a now option to browse the different flights and all in the Google. And along with the timing and the flight options and all, you see that what is the carbon emission of the particular flight is. So see the adaptability, transparency, which are forced to be embedded by these solutions by the airlines and all. So why it is kind of additional feature or insight they are giving, because we are getting more and more aware about the climate, about the sustainability and all. So that is the one thing which I could relate. The second thing is particular from the service industry perspective, whether it is Capgemini or another similar players, is very important to have the profitability. Yeah. So because when you engage with the customers, it's fine. So we have a commitment to the sustainability, but profitability also does matter. So we identified based on our research, because Capgemini is having a Capgemini Research Institute, which is the top rated research institutes by the research agency, just similar to the Gartner and all. We publish our white paper and reports and all. You can just see that all in the web. So based on that, if you see the priority of top 10 priorities of the CXO level audience last year, the first time ESG category has been jumped up more than 100% from the priority perspective. First time it has been listed in the top 10. So you see that if the vendors are going to the clients and they're saying that, okay, so we have a very good supply chain, we have a very good recommendation of the route optimization and all, but we are not talking about the sustainability. We cannot be there in the even profitable business as well. So that is what the need is. One is from the customer pressure. You have seen that from airlines, how they are making more and more transparent what type of carbon emission they are putting. The second thing is from the service provider as well. Anything, any solution which we are developing from my data science AI group, we are embedding the sustainability as a part of the every solution, as every offer. Another part, because we are talking about AI, and um, very, very important to understand another dimension of sustainability. One, we are talking about sustainability in AI. Another is a sustainable AI itself. So what that mean? Uh, as you have seen that many news these days, chat GPT, GPT-3, GPT-4 is coming. GPT-4 might be the grandfather of chat GPT and all, billions, trillions parameter. We have seen that, right? So even our Hindi news channels are also having a debate around these topics and all. It's very interesting, very interesting discussions, very interesting insights and all. But as we are the generation who will be developing, who are developing AI based solutions, we have a responsibility to understand what type of algorithm, what type of complex calculations, computations we are keeping, whether it has a kind of an impact on the climate, whether it has an impact on the environment. So you just take the kind of you might have studied a BERT model, XLNet model, all these kind of models. But because Praveen invited me as the second speaker, I couldn't share my slides with you. I was just getting ready. But yeah, so I'll just give you the glimpse. The computation, the compute which is getting consumed by GPT-3, by Chat GPT, or the GPT-4 or BERT or XLNet, these kind of a pre-trained models is equivalent to thousands and thousands of houses which can be powered. So that kind of, and these statistics, I'm not making it up, that is all published in the industry domain. You can browse it and all. That is the reason when we are developing any solution and we are connecting back to the sustainability, ESG parameters and all, very important to understand if we are having this kind of a solution development and all, how much we are contributing to the carbon emission as well. So that's very, very important. So for you might be developing, you are the young generation doing a more research than me even going forward. Very, very important to make sure that just like when we are tweaking the parameters of AI solution in terms of accuracy, in terms of error, in terms of false positive and negatives and all, we have to add the parameters of the ESG KPIs as well in our solutions. That's very, very important. Give you just one food for your thought after the meeting. Code Carbon is a one library, is open source based. When you are developing any kind of a cool deep learning model and all, try to leverage that library, and you can have all this kind of a metrics which are relating to the sustainability on your fingertips. And then you can see that not only accuracy speaks, but ESG parameters, KPIs also should speak when you are publishing your results to the stakeholders. So with this, I'll just take a pause. I don't know how much time I have consumed, Praveen. Always
there's another 2-3 minutes if you would like to speak, Jatin. Still okay.
Yeah, so okay, so last one from the Capgemini perspective. You can see that our annual report, you can see our address of the group CEO, Ayman. Sustainability is very, very and very close to the priority, the strategic direction which we are having. And we committed internally as well at Capgemini. So I'll just read few numbers which we have promised to ourselves first, because before going to the customer, before going to the industry, before going to the society, the first we have to understand how we can do that from the sustainability angle perspective. For example, we have set few goals for itself, for ourselves. First is the be carbon neutral for our own operations. What are the operations we are running? Whether it's the transportation operation, whether it's the office building operations and all, no later than 2025, and across our supply chain by 2030, committed to becoming a net zero business well ahead of 2050. So we all know 2050 is the big milestone and all, but as a Capgemini, due to our priority, our commitment to the sustainability, to the climate and the to ESG objectives and all, we have put a target even closer to 2030. We should be adhered to that. Another is a transition to 100% renewable electricity by 2025%. If you'll visit our Capgemini office in Hyderabad or any other city, you see that a lot of electric hubs are there. If you're just having an electric vehicle and all, you can just kind of plug it, charge it over there and all. And we have a kind of another kind of a plants as well within the offices and all, so that we can consume less energy. And data centers also can consume less energy by surrounding with the water kind of a sources and all. You can cool down the temperature instead of having a artificial sources. And all the electrical vehicles, Capgemini is promised itself to go to the electric vehicles by 2030. And the last one is help our customers to save 10 million tons of CO2 equivalent by 2030. There is a very big target. We have even translated into the dollar value, which I will refrain to quote over here. But these are the 3 targets which we have committed within the Capgemini, and we are very much on that. It is not only kind of only the strategic meeting and all. Every day in, day out, what is the solution, what is the strategy, what is the consulting I'm doing from my team, from AI data science. Sustainability is the core. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jatin. I think it's important that students understood the perspective of the industry while aiming for profitability, but also at what cost, and hence sustainability and ESG based initiatives are extremely sacrosanct. I'm glad that you highlighted that. And also the code libraries that you talked about, I'm sure would also come in very handy for the student teams. Thanks again, Jatin. Really appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Next, I'd like to welcome Ramadevi Lanka Garu. She is the Director for Emerging Technologies Wing in the IT department at the Government of Telangana, one of our very strong supporters, as much as Capgemini has been. And like Ritu mentioned earlier on, the strong government industry partnership, which is really what a challenge of this kind represents, cannot happen with only one stakeholder. And hence, I am very thankful to the Government of Telangana and Ramadevi Garu in particular for her support. Rama Garu, this is over to you. The floor is yours. Request you to provide your address.
Thank you, Praveen. Well, a very good evening to everyone. Ritu Halder, Jatinder Kautesh, Praveen, and more importantly, the students, 400 plus students, 465, I see the number right now. It's really encouraging to have you here, and this is a very close topic for us, close to our hearts, climate change, anything related to sustainability, related to ESG, because that's the need of the R, not just for our state, Telangana, or for India, but for the entire world. That is the reason we chose climate change or this particular use case currently. Well, as Praveen has indicated, I represent the Government of Telangana. I head the emerging technologies wing, where we work with new technologies such as, artificial intelligence, blockchain, drones, cloud, robotics, AR, VR, and so on. The objective is to see, how we leverage these technologies to solve problems, real, problems out there that could impact millions of lives in India. It could be in agriculture, it could be in climate change, environment, it could be in education, you name it, any social sector that's out there, we're trying to solve problems. And also, now every leader, including Sundar Pichai or even Satya Nadella, they have been saying that if you can solve a problem for India, you're solving these problems for the world, because whatever you are going to solve it here can be replicable at least 60% of the world. So that is what we are looking at. So having said that, now it's a great opportunity for this for the young students who are out there, who are now you have to build solutions to solve problems for our country. And as a state, a proactive state, I would say, in leveraging technologies, or a pioneer in using technologies to solve problems, we have actually started out this grand challenge. And this is part of our overall vision in actually, making, though we say Telangana is one of the top AI hubs, ultimately our vision is to see India leading the AI, in the AI space. Since all of your students, you might already know this, currently, in fact, China is almost on par with the US in terms of, adoption, or in terms of the AI space, the kind of citations, the kind of research it's doing, the kind of, solutions that's developing, the kind of talent it has. It's almost surpassing US. Well, let us do our bit in taking India, to that level. So that was our intention when we started out of this AI for Telangana AI mission. This is while we work on various emerging technologies, but for the last 2 or 3 years, from 2020 onwards, our focus has been on AI, artificial intelligence, to foster, innovation to deliver social good is what we are looking at. So for the last 3 years, we have implemented some very exciting projects solving, using technology to solve problems in agriculture that ultimately leads to increase in revenue for the farmer. That's one area. Healthcare is another area that we are working on. So, and this particular challenge that today all of you are participating here is in climate change. All of you might be aware, that's a pressing need or pressing challenge for the world as a whole. In fact, Earth has warmed up to about more than 1.1 degrees, and that's causing increase in temperatures, leading to floods, temperature changes, which ultimately impacts the human lives. It could be, you may not be able to produce enough food. I mean, this could have impact on food production, on housing, on livelihoods, and so on. So that is the reason we chose this particular use case today. And as part of Telangana AI mission, while Praveen has already indicated what Telangana AI mission does, today we have 140 startups, in our accelerator program. And we organize these grand challenges in partnership with industry, academia. As, from the government side, we identify problem statements and share it with the industry, the academia, and form partnerships and announce these grand challenges. There are a couple of formats for it. One is, for certain challenges, we invite startups, and for certain challenges like, this one, this time we thought, let us actually involve students, in this. It's Praveen's idea. The credit should go to him, Initially, he said, why don't we look at our focus was mostly on startups, because as you know, Telangana, we have a very good, excellent startup ecosystem in the state. And our focus has always been on sourcing solutions from startup. But Praveen suggested, why don't we actually look at the student community? So then I readily agreed. And, in fact, it's a twin benefit for us if we look at the student community. One is, as Ritu and others have spoken, it will actually sort of bring in that entrepreneurial mindset. That is one. Second, some students may not want to go for a startup, but nevertheless, it improves your skill level, by working on such projects. It will actually enrich your resume. Even you may opt for a job or for. So the primary idea is to skill, students who are coming out of college, or to build a talent pipeline for the industry, or it could be your own startup. That's the idea. And we came out with this grand challenge. Earlier, we had one grand challenge on the banking solution. It was actually sponsored by Wells Fargo, and we received tremendous response, from that also. And one advantage for the student community here is, as already, you have heard Jatin talking about what Capgemini does. You're going to get excellent mentorship from Capgemini team in terms of, technological, inputs. And even when you're developing the product or solution or whatever it is, you excellent mentorship from them. And from the government side, whatever data that you need to actually develop that solution, and in terms of all the ground level support to actually to develop the solution, that the government will be providing. It's an excellent partnership between the industry and the government. And the reason we chose this use case, already Jatin has spoken at length, on the importance of sustainability and ESG. In fact, the Security Exchange Board of US, where companies need to register, in fact, it has made it mandatory for all the organizations that are registering to furnish a ESG report, ESG, environment, social, and governance, report. It's a mandatory. Now, every company will have to look at the emissions that they're generating. So the potential is huge in terms of across the world, when you're working on use cases related to climate change. So any support that you need from the government side, we are ready to offer that. Just reach out to us, reach out to Praveen. If you need any data sets or anything that you need from us, we are happy to provide you. And again, there is a prize money, for the winner, of course, which will motivate you. And we are also promising one thing. If suppose your solution is really good and it's delivering the intended results, we while we said you have to actually provide, you have to predict the concurrence of heat waves and air quality index for 4 districts: Adilabad, Nizamabad, Warangal, Karimnagar, 5, and Khammam. So if it's a working solution, we are ready to implement it in all these districts. Plus, if it really works well, we'll do it a pilot for a few months and see. We will actually implement, take it across the state. So this is a commitment from our side. So I wish all the students, the very best. And I really congratulate you for one thing, for having taken this decision to be part of this excellent grand challenge. It gives you immense opportunities in terms of one thing, to interact with other fellow students. Second, mentorship, as I said, from Capgemini team, and whatever support in terms of data sets, while there's a lot of data out there publicly available, but in case if you need specific data set from the government itself, that also will make it available. So I wish the very best for, to each one of you, and participating itself is a great thing. I would say is one of the winning things. So all the best, and over to you, Praveen.
Thank you very much, Ramagaru. The last bit which you mentioned came as a surprise, that you'd be willing to work together with one of the most viable solutions that come your way. And I think for student-led startups, that's a big boon and a big blessing in many ways if we are able to get to that. We really hope that this is a significant inspiration. One of the questions that I answered in the Q&A was in response to a similar question that somebody posed, which is really, if there is a viable solution, will you help take us to the right forums and right authorities? And I said, with the whole intent of bringing together all these very different stakeholders is essentially to be able to support that and to make that happen. So we will definitely work towards that. But Ramagaru, thank you for mentioning it. I think it's very wonderful to hear that from you. And like you rightly highlighted, the objective is, to provide for these data sets as it is, the resources section on the microsite has a lot of these different data sets publicly available through the Telangana's open data portal. But if you feel there are other data sets that are government centric that are not listed, please let us know. We'll endeavor to provide that. But once again, Ramagaru, thank you for your address. Very inspiring. And this is the first step, but I'm sure every step in this journey will be very fulfilling to all of you students, and I'm very glad that you are sharing this journey with us. So Ramagaru, Jatin and Ritu, we're going to move into a segment which is going to cover more about the details of this challenge. You may feel free to stay or leave. I'll leave that decision to you, but we'll aim to move on to the next segment.
Sure. Thank you, Praveen.
Sure.
Thank you, Praveen.
Thank you, Praveen.
You're very welcome. Thanks again for joining.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. So next, I would request my colleague Sudeep from NASSCOM to to come to the stage and talk about the specifics of the challenge. A whole lot of questions I'm hoping would be answered through his segment. Sudeep, you have about 10-15 minutes. I'm sure you can take the time, but more importantly, cover those essential elements, which I'm sure would clarify a whole lot of questions. In the meanwhile, in the background, I'll aim to address questions in the Q&A section. So Sudeep, over to you.
Thanks so much, Praveen, and thanks to Ritu, Jatinder, and Ramagaru for setting the context. And I'm so excited. I feel as if I should have been in a college to take up a challenge like this, right? With the amount of data available, the support available, what else do I need, right? And to all the students, like Ramagaru also mentioned, right? You registering and thinking about it, that I know I should attempt it itself is like 60-70% of the problem solved, right? So let's move on. Praveen, I hope you can see my screen. Perfect. So, at a high level, what is the objective? Praveen did mention it is to foster and to support, entrepreneurial spirit among the students, basically help you start your entrepreneurial journey. I'm sure you guys have a lot of potential, and how you can make use of it to form something for, like Ramagaru mentioned, right? Solving for India is like solving for the world. Probably, you are one of them, right? So definitely, yes, the first tick goes to entrepreneurial spirit. For the challenge, as a student team, right? What is that you're expected to solve, right? Or expected to build as a solution? It is to predict the heat wave occurrences, number one, and number two is air quality index, right? And it is for tier 2 cities of Telangana. The cities are definitely mentioned, and all that data is available. As I move ahead, more information you'll get, clarity on. So moving ahead, in terms of the context, I think I don't have to cover this anymore. Climate change is a big problem. It's been discussed in all forums possible, right from the Prime Minister's office to the World Economic Forum to WHO, to wherever you talk about, right? Climate change is a concern for everybody, and in our corporate boardrooms as well, right? So moving ahead, who's eligible to solve or who's eligible to participate in this academic grand challenge? So any graduate or PG students who are passing out in the year of 2023, 24 or 25 from any colleges, any university across India, right? I did see a question in the Q&A panel. Somebody asked, is it only limited to Telangana? No, it is not. It is open for all. Like the previous grand challenges, it is open for all, right? Second information, and why I have marked it in orange, is when you are applying for the challenge, you have to have a team member with you, right? So it is for teams to solve this challenge and not as an individual. So whenever you are applying for it, make sure you have your partner, buddy, or whoever, who can be part of your team to support this challenge. But yes, having said that, these should be students, your team members should be students can be graduate, can be PG courses student passing out of any of these years, which is 23, 24, and 25. All right. So have this information handy with you, which is important because once you are filling up the registration form, you would be asked, apart from your details, you being the team leader, who are the other team members, whom you would like to add on. So it can be between 2 to 4, students in a team. Moving ahead, how do you start? Most of you have already registered. If you have not, Praveen, if you can drop a note on the chat, where can they go and register? So you have to, as I said, you have to register yourself as a team for the Academic Grand Challenge. As soon as you register, you get a confirmation email from the backend team with your login details, etc., on the platform. Now, once you go to the platform, your round 1 already has started. So basically, what is round 1? It is a preliminary assessment of your team. All right. So when I say preliminary assessment, it's a questionnaire, basically a multiple choice questionnaire, which has around 70 odd questions, which, as a team, you need to respond. It's not for everybody in the team to respond, but as a team, only one response is good enough, and which you should be doing. Once you have filled in this MCQ questions, you move on to the round 2. But yes, once we have verified the results, or we have gone through the selection criteria, that's when you move on to the round 2. But at any point of time, right, if you have any questions, you can see this email ID on your screen, which is taim@nasscom.in. Write to us with your team name, and we are ready to help you with any kind of queries or questions you might have. Okay. Now, as I was saying, once you have filled in the MCQ questions in round 1, you selected teams, from round 1 are given an opportunity to submit approach notes, right? So that is round 2. So for now, I think your focus should be round 1. Ensure that you've answered all these questions correctly as a team, and we would be revealing the results, which definitely I'll cover a little later, by the 28th of January, and that's when the teams who have been selected for round 2 will move on to the teams. Yeah, exactly. Teams who have been selected from round 1 will move on to round 2. Now, talking about round 3, after in round 2, as you are supporting or submitting approach notes, in round 3, the approach notes would be shortlisted, and the selected few will move on to the POC round, or the proof of concept round. That's where we would be assessing your technical ability. All right. And then the teams are given approximately 30 days time to submit the POC. How does the POC happen? Where does it happen? What is the platform for it, etc.? We will definitely address that as we reach there. We don't want to confuse you right away. And then the round 4, or which is the final round, top 5 teams will be invited to present their POC to the grand jury. And the winning criteria will be a combination of qualitative as well as quantitative methods to solve the problem, and definitely the decision of the jury would be final and binding. Now, I'm just
I'd like to pause you there. If you're moving through your slides, we're not seeing that happen. We are seeing the first slide.
Oh, okay. Not sure why. Just give me a moment. Is this visible?
Sorry, I was occupied with the Q&A. I was responding to the questions over there. I didn't pay attention.
Never mind.
Yeah, now we can see the slides change.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. No problem. So I spoke about the objective. What is the objective, and what is that your solution is supposed to predict? It's heat wave occurrences as well as air quality index for tier 2 cities of Telangana. I'll just quickly do a quick brief. This we have covered. Why climate change? How is it important? Then we spoke about the eligibility. Again, it's open to graduates and PG students for the classes of 23 and 24 and 25. And it can be from any colleges and universities across India. Now, as a team, you need to ensure that you have your team members' details, which is your name, email ID and the phone numbers ready when you're registering. Where do you register? I suppose Praveen would have already shared a link wherein you can go ahead and, Praveen gives a nod. That means that link is there on the chat right now. And after that, as soon as you have registered, your round one starts, wherein you get a confirmation email immediately after you register with the details to log into the platform and take up this preliminary assessment. As I said, this assessment is for the team and not for the individuals in the team. All right, so you as a team, you can respond to that. And moving ahead, so as soon as you have responded to these MCQ questions of round one, a selected few teams are chosen for the next round, which is round two, which is the approach note round. As we reach there, we'll share the format with you, what you need to fill in the approach notes, etc. The teams are given approximately 5 days to submit the approach notes. We intend to share the results of the MCQ question round or the round one by the 28th of January. Moving ahead, round three, which is for a smaller number of teams, but it is the selected or the shortlisted teams from the approach note round or the round two. And then, they move on to round three, wherein you need to develop a proof of concept, wherein we verify the technical, I would say, capability of this team or the solution. And round four, the selected 5 teams present their POC to the grand jury, right? Moving ahead, I did mention that a decision of the jury would be final and binding. So, we all shall abide by that. This is a very important piece, right? How do we rank you? So as you slowly start moving from round one to round two to round three, we look at the approach of the solution, which is going to get around 40% weightage. Then the technical ability or the code quality, use of data, scalability of the solutions, etc., which gets another 40%, and the results, the accuracy of the solution, which gets around 20% weightage. So remember this. Yes, what we are sharing right now, the video recording as well as the information, what I'm talking about is all available on the website. The video recording, we will be putting it in the resources section. So if you want to, refer to this video or this recording anytime in the future, you can always go ahead and do that. So here are the few important dates. We are here on January 17th. January 20th is the deadline for you to register and ensure that you have, attempted the MCQ questions of round one. All right. And by 28th, the results would be declared and so on. But then round two starts from round two deadline is Feb 2nd and so on. Again, these dates or milestones, which you can see is there on the Grand Challenge website. This is just for your reference. I wanted to, show it to you. Moving ahead, and this is a screenshot of the resources section on the website. As you can see, there are multiple data sets which are available. Number one being the vehicle purchase at the RTA level, AQI related data, then energy consumption by industry, the weather data, which is since 2018 to 2022. And other publicly available data sets. And as Praveen also mentioned, or rather as Jatin mentioned, there might be some other data sources which we can put in the resources section as well. So that's about it, Praveen, from our end. I think I finished it well within time. Let's go ahead and address the questions in the Q&A panel. Should we take it one by one?
Yeah, I think we could do that. Sudeep, I have been already answering to some of the questions live, as in terms of the text-based responses. But I think we can go ahead verbally now. We can use the time to do that.
Sure. So I'm going by the first come first. So Sandesh Hegde had a question regards to what is round one and what is that they need to do. I hope that is clarified now, Sandesh. Round one is the MCQ round after you have registered on the platform. Use the link which Praveen has already shared on the chat to register yourself. As soon as you register, you will get a confirmation email which will also help you to log on to the platform and attempt the MCQ questions. All right. So moving ahead. Okay. I see another question, similar question, round one, and what is the task around it? Then Trinad had a question, sir, only building an ML model or creating web app and deployment in the cloud platform also, up to how much we need to do, right? So Trinad, we are not limiting you or your solution, right? You can, in fact, we don't want to tell you that you can stop here or anything like that. The data which is available and what we are looking for, you and your team members can attempt and use that data and solve for it. All right. I see two questions of the same type, so I'm just leaving that. There's a question which says, will it be generalized or coding contest? So I'm assuming, Praveen, you've already responded to that. Great.
No, I wanted to, but since you started, so I'll
Okay.
respond to that. So it's not really generalized. It's very specific because the objective is to sort of build a predictive model for air quality index and heat wave occurrences. And this is going to be an AI ML based model that you will build. But this is really for the proof of concept round. Right now, round one is really about code comprehension. How do we stay on top of industry trends? Is a broad question, but there are many avenues, a lot of different thought leaders that you can follow, different tech and non-tech based resources. Non-tech, Harvard Business Review comes to my mind. Tech-based resources, I'm not sure. Sudeep, you have any suggestions there? But there's so many of them, really. But if there's anything specific, maybe we can answer that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Core libraries, I think one of the libraries that one of the panelists, Jatinder, talked about was Code Carbon. I think it's in the list of answered questions. Maybe Kriti, if you can look that up and respond here, that would be great for Sahil. There's an anonymous attendee asking, even if we don't come in the top 10, can we still work with collaboration of government regarding these issues? It's a tough one, really, because, we obviously would want to encourage everybody, to work with government, specifically issues like this. But there's got to be a way in which we are able to channelize resources efficiently. We would want to work with various kinds of startup enablers and make sure that they are able to work with the best in class of solutions. I would not imagine that you would not come in the top 10. Let me suggest you to approach it in a way that you're going to work and come in the top 10, because any beyond, unless the idea is of course top 10, but then we'll also be mindful of the fact if the difference between the 10th, 11th and 12th is not too much apart, then we can even consider the rest of the teams as well. But ideally, just because it's just humanly impossible to support everybody, hence we'll be only able to support the top 10 teams. Should everyone in the team, right? I think this is a question which a lot of y'all have been asking. Yes, you should attempt to take this round one together, because you can use the collective strengths among the team members to respond to the questions that will come in the multiple choice round. It's essentially going to be testing your code comprehension. So some of you might be good at certain parts of code writing, and some of you may not. So your team representative would receive the instructions, but it's not the team representative who has to respond to this. Collectively is what I would recommend. I also suggested to one of the questions that in case there are people, I mean, you all are spread across different parts of the country, you can do this virtually, you can do a streaming so that, you can combine, respond to the round one. Can you sit together and discuss the question? Of course, I think I've answered that. So you should be able to do that together. Once you have given the test, can you give it again? No, I don't think that would be possible. So you'll have, I guess, about an hour to respond to the multiple choice questions, and you should be able to complete it within the hour. There's going to be no extension. So make sure that you figure out a quite enough time and when all of you are together and you can make an attempt at it. What sort of questions? I think we've addressed it, so I'm going to skip that question in round one. The round one is currently live, Saurav. It is as soon as you register, you should get an email confirmation, if not within the next 24 hours after signing up. But in case you still don't receive it, please feel free to write to us. Sudeep has shared the email, just tm@nasscom.in. Kishore Chandran has asked a question. This has been addressed. Not each member, but team collectively, there's only one attempt that will be made by the team collectively at the MCQ. Okay, I'm going to take a pause here, take some breath, and Sudeep will continue.
Sure. So, okay. Okay, so somebody is asking, hold on. Should everyone in the team, yeah, that has already been answered. Will there be a team knockouts in round one? So once you have filled in the MCQs, we will shortlist the top teams and give them an opportunity to share the approach notes with us. Yes, I can say that there is a knockouts. There would be a passing criteria for that. Right? Can you explain what approach notes should actually contain? So as I was mentioning, the approach note is how you would like to take up the challenge, right? How you would like to solve this particular use case. Now, for the approach note, definitely once teams reach, say, the round two, wherein they're supposed to submit approach notes, we will share a format, and all you need to do is share information related to your solution for this use case. Okay, and would you please elaborate POC? What is POC? So POC is post the approach note round. The selected few teams would be based on their approach notes, based on the solution approach, would be selected. POC means proof of concept, and that's when your technical skills would be of use. And once you have, shared your codes, etc., the solution codes. In fact, we will have our platform partner help you out with that. There is a common platform wherein you can submit the codes, and once we reach there, definitely we will support you on that. So POC round, since your question was what is a POC? POC is proof of concept, and that is wherein you showcase the approach you have taken through a technical solution.
So Sudeep, before you continue, I've seen a few of the students raising hands. My request is if you can put your questions on the Q&A window, we'll attempt to respond to all of those questions. We'll appreciate that. So let me take over, Sudeep, quickly. I'll give you a breather. So Grusha asked, the decision is based on the accuracy of the model. Accuracy is one part of it. I think Sudeep covered in the slides. It's about 20% of the assessment. The other 40% is on the technicality of the model, another 40% the approach that is going to be drafted in the approach note. So it's a multi parametric assessment, if you will, across the multiple stages. Or the approach. Yeah, I think I answered your question. You had a couple of questions connected with each other. Is it okay if only one person from the team could attend round one? Yeah, that's absolutely fine. However, the greater the odds of you cracking the round is there when you have many of you as a part of the team attempting it together. Hence, that's our recommendation. What are the prerequisites? Nothing really, as long as you are familiar with code writing. You don't need to know anything about climate change or really how you should solve climate change. This is really your ability to build, an AI machine learning model that will help predict what the air quality index or the occurrence of heat waves that are likely to be for a certain period, which has been mentioned in the microsite. The period is January to December 2023, and historical data is provided in the microsite. There were questions on the dataset links not working. It is very likely that has been there because this is from Telangana's open data portal, and I've been told by them that there is a small migration that is happening since yesterday, and hence some of the links may not be working. So we are working with them in order to make these live, but these links have no bearing on round one. Please do focus on completing the round one, and within the next few days we'll have the links up. Can you please tell how you will get the round one link to solve? So as soon as you sign up, you should get this link to your email within 24 hours. If not, please write to us on our email address. Since the assessment for round one was only sent to team head, so I think this would it possible to solve over Zoom or Gmeet? Yes, the answer is yes. You can do that together remotely, virtually. Anonymous person has written, what's a passing percentage? There's no absolute passing percentage. It's a relative percentage. And top teams, we are yet contemplating on what is the top teams or what is the number of the top teams, but it's likely to be top 200 or 250 teams that will make the cut for the next round. Is there any resume shortlisting? No, we're not bothered about your resume. I'm sure all of you are equally good, but it's really about practically how you are applying your skills to solving this problem. Round two is not clear. We'll aim to address that subsequently, but it's essentially an approach. How do you plan to solve this problem is what is expected in round two. And you are expected to outline the methodology, the approach to solving this problem, and kind of libraries that you might want to use, the kind of architecture that you might want to build. So it could be many ways in which you could build your approach, not your approach document, but then details of which the specific templates will be shared with you, once your team is through round two. I see about 78 more questions, Sudeep.
Wow.
I'm definitely okay to to respond to these questions. I think it'll take us about 20-30 minutes, but I think it'll be useful for us to address these questions. I'll let you know when I need a breather, Sudeep.
Absolutely.
But let me continue. So Neha asks how we can create a
Teams, or should we help them? So
so I think you should go ahead, the best team composition, and it needn't necessarily be from the same college. You can even go beyond. So feel free to tie up with a friend or a known person from a different college. You can work together and it doesn't matter, right? So I have registered email confirmation. So email confirmation has not come. Then please do wait for 24 hours after signing up. If you still don't hear from us or from, on your email, then write to us, TAM as in TAIM @NASSCOM.in. Do we get participate certificate for participating in this challenge? Unfortunately, we'll not be able to provide a participation certificate to everybody who's participating in this challenge. But for the top teams, we will give them an appreciation certificate for reaching thus far. On 20th Jan, what is the last timing to write? This will most likely be end of the day, 11:59 p.m. And you will receive the instructions, on your email. Sudeep, you can also type out, but you can skip that. Harshit is asking, I think this is something which we've already answered. Round one is recommended that all team members approach the round one together. and that would be, better if, more minds work towards the MCQ. Priyansh is asking, round 1 test present somewhere, or will it come on 20th Jan itself? No, as soon as you sign up, within the 24 hours, you should receive instructions on attempting the round 1. So in case you've only recently signed up, then please expect that email within the 24 hours of signing up, and the details will be there over there. It will be online. And these are MCQ questions like we've answered.
Just adding there, the email goes to the team leader, okay, not everybody in the team.
Right. So could I add another team member? Current size is 2. Yes, please write to us as soon as you can. If you have not attempted the MCQ yet, then please write to us, and we'll see if we can enhance the team size. That's something we can do. Please write to us on our email address. Email address is on the microsite as well. Can you please explain what the approach note should actually contain? This has been addressed. I'm going to skip that. Round 1 will be MCQ. Yes, MCQ based. Questions, Ashish asked, what sort of test will this be? This will be on essentially code comprehension, Python based. So you will be asked questions. There'll be code snippets that will be shared, and some of the questions will be around what could be the expected output of this code, or what is perhaps incorrect, or what kind of error that you can expect, in many ways in which essentially, we will be able to test your comprehension. Can you send the application link once again? Kriti, can you post that on the chat once again for Sasivardhan? All right, thank you. Anonymous attendee asks, we have registered, haven't received the query, portal login. Again, this has been addressed, so please wait for 24 hours of signing up. And then if you have still no answers, no email from us, then please write to us. And still we have 79 more questions, Sudeep.
It doesn't seem to go down.
Yeah, so Sudeep, you want to take over?
Yeah, so AQI has many calculation types, so need some exact formula or guidelines to calculate AQI, or references to calculate. So please refer to, I would say, the research papers, and if you feel that that's the approach which should be taken, please go ahead and use that calculation. I agree, there might be a lot of ways to calculate AQI. The data which is posted on the NASSCOM website is not enough to make finite answers. Yes, absolutely. You can also assess or access any publicly available data for your model or for your solution. You can go ahead and do that. So that was in answer to Ritesh Kumar's question. Moving ahead, Hariom is asking, are we supposed to get an email immediately after the registration? Within 24 hours, Hariom, if you have registered now, probably by tomorrow morning, around 11, you should receive the email. Okay. Then could you please explain briefly about the rounds? So as soon as you register, round 1 is the MCQ round. So you'll get a confirmation email with the link to the MCQ. Round 2 is the approach note round. Again, the shortlisted candidates from the MCQ round move to round 2. Shortlisted candidates from round 2, which is the approach note round, move to round 3, and so on to round 4. So round 3 is about POC round, or the proof of concept round. Moving ahead, sorry guys, moving fast because the number of questions don't seem to come down. So Sardaruddin Syed is asking, do we have to stick to the problem statement, or can we put in some other predictions from our side? As long as you're attempting those 2 predictions, that's good enough. Not to be you might want to add other predictions, but again, don't complicate yourself. Focus on those 2, that is AQI and the heat waves. All right. Okay, will there be any meeting after round 1 for discussion in the last meeting to interact? So there might be a webinar organized, Praveen, for the approach note round, right? Yeah. So for the approach note round, we'll do a short webinar to guide you through the approach note, what needs to be put, what is the format, and so on. Okay, should the model predict the heat wave occurrence and AQI for every month? It is month on month since since December to January.
No, January to December 2023 is the period for prediction.
Right. So
because historical data is available, So you should be able to use historical data, which is typically on a month-on-month basis. I think in the data sets you should be able to find. But for the month, what is your average prediction of AQI?
All right, Siddhant, again, same question. Registered, you will get your confirmation email and the link to the MCQ. If you are not getting it by tomorrow noon, drop us an email at tam@nasscom.in. Keshav, what can we expect in round one? Like on what topics will be tested? This has already been answered. This is a basically code comprehension assessment. So Praveen has already responded to that. Moving on, Srinath sir, there are multiple data sets. So do we have to build ML script for all those data sets, or do we have to consider only one of the data sets? So Praveen, I'm not sure, what should
I'll respond, Sudeep.
Yeah.
So you can use only one data set. You can use few of those. You can use all of those. You can even use data sets outside of the data sets that have been provided to you. So as long as you know what you're doing, you can sort of build the ML model. Do you want me to continue, Sudeep?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Do we need to do the AQI and heat wave prediction for 2023? We've answered that, so I'm going to skip that. The answer is yes. Will we be getting participation certificates? So I think we've answered that bit as well. Did I and team members of my team get the confirmation of registration? You should within the 24 hours. If not, reach out to us on email. Can you use open source frameworks for building AI model? Absolutely, feel free to do that. You'll obviously need to customize that for this particular requirement. And then that's absolutely fine. Saurav has asked, already registered, only Zoom meeting mail has been received. Please wait for 24 hours. And then if you haven't received
Saurav,
it,
if you're talking about the Zoom registration, that's not the one. You have to go to the link which is mentioned on the chat and register yourself. Zoom registration is different.
Right. Prince Kumar asks, can you please explain round 3? Round 3 is essentially proof of concept building. So you'll be given, somewhere around 3 to 4 weeks to build the proof of concept model, which is actually where all the theory will be put into action. You got to build the model. We will provide you the necessary environment for you to build that model. But that is expected on round 3, and the model will be evaluated on the technical parameters as well as on the results slide which Sudeep has already shared. So 40% on the technical part of the code will be used for assessment, and then 20% for the results, the accuracy bit. And how many days will be given to solve the MCQ question? So you have time until the 20th to start the MCQ evaluation, but once you start, you have 1 hour to finish that round.
Yeah.
So recommend
No
that
second
you do this
attempt.
together.
So once you start, you have to finish it within that 1 hour.
Right. Please confirm if the solution is web, Android, anything, whatever you think is appropriate. But again, this is more for round 3. So there's going to be enough support and guidance that we will provide. So let's park it for them. Is there any pattern for assessment? Like, what are the questions based on? There's no particular pattern. These are randomized questions. So what one team will receive needn't be the same as the other, but there's going to be a different range of difficulties that will be there. Some will be easy, some will be medium, some could be difficult is what you might find, but that's all there is to it. And the range of difficulty is equal for all the teams, just that the questions might not be the same for your team versus the neighboring team. These are randomized questions. Should the solution be restricted only to prediction of heat wave and AQI? Can we also predict things that can contribute to climate change? Yeah, feel free to expand on your solution. If you think that you can add more layers to the prediction and help assess the impacts of climate change, you think there are other variables that you would want to cover, and thereby also consider various other data sets, feel free to do so, because I'm sure it will get you brownie points, because you're making it much more wider and comprehensive as a solution. Alaric Kusher as I'm 2022 graduate, planning to apply for masters in the next academic year. Is there a way in which I can join? So you should ideally be affiliated to a college or a university at this point in time. If you are not a current student, then I'm afraid you may not be able to join formally. But if you have friends who are eligible, you can work with them, collaborate with them, and that is also okay, I'm sure. We are okay with that. But formally, you may not be able to get the credit. What would be the cutoff? No specific cutoff marks. These are relative standing, and we'll pick the top 200 or 250 teams. One attempt per team is what you have, Shivans. So please make the best use of the time. Anonymous person has, yeah, these are repetitive questions I see, but happy to answer this again. This will be a coding based comprehension, which will be there in the preliminary round, the round one. And no quantitative, no reasoning based questions. It's just purely coding based. Code snippets will be provided, and you'll be expected to understand the code and answer the questions against that. How many hours? 1 hour will be given to solve the MCQs. Is the assessment proctored? Tab switching is not allowed. So won't it be an issue while streaming? So yeah, I mean, stay true to the code of conduct. I mean, it's an informal code of conduct that I would recommend all of you to consider. You know, you will not do good if you're referring to multiple tabs. I don't see the need for you to do tab switching, you know, because your skill set and your abilities should be sufficient enough for you to respond to these questions. These are not proctored, but we have our own ways of assessing proctoring, of course, because, you know, we look at data, we look at how you're making the attempt to solve these questions. So in some ways, this is a pseudo proctoring, a semi proctoring, which will be undertaken, but no actual proctoring.
And I think, Praveen, another thing with regards to this question is for those candidates or those team members who are in different cities, and if you are doing on a Zoom call, right, maybe that might not work when you're attempting the assessment. That's what the question is about.
Yeah, so I would recommend you start the Zoom call or a Google Meet, and then you know, the individual or individuals who are taking the assessment, share your screen, and then you start doing that together. So there essentially won't be any. So when I saw tab switching, I thought more like a browser tab switching. But if it is to switch windows between Zoom and you know, Google Meet, I think you can start your virtual meeting first, and then share the screen, and then start your round one. Karan Khatik,
Question is answered,
yeah, this has been answered, I think. Yeah. When will we get the result of the MCQ test? 28th January. Participation certificate bit has been answered. How many teams will be accepted into round one? I am guessing you mean round two. So about 200 to 250 teams will be through to round two. No threshold marks. This is a relative standing, and that would be the response. Same question on the cutoff score, which I'm going to skip. There's no cutoff score. How many teams will be selected on a rough basis? That has been answered. Can we work with NASSCOM if not in top 10 regarding these issues? We'll park it for now. We're not really sure how we can support so many students and student teams in one go. My recommendation is follow Telangana AI Mission on LinkedIn and Twitter. Stay connected, follow what we are doing, and you know, if you think that there is something that we can help you with, write to us. We can't promise you anything at this point in time, but we'll see what we can do best. Can we Google the questions during round one? Of course, you can Google the questions. I would say anybody can, but you know, my recommendation is there is always got to have a code of conduct. Are you doing this ethically, doing the right way, based on the best abilities that you carry? You know, if you have, you know, what it takes to address, because these are practical questions, right? I'm very sure that you will not find answers to these questions on the internet, because you will have code snippets, and you may want to you know, try, but you know, you just are not consuming the time in the effective manner, but more importantly, it will not lead you further in the subsequent rounds if you don't have that capability, to respond live as against searching on the internet. My recommendation is no. Suggestion to participate together. Yeah, virtually you can do that. I think I've answered this question. Where do I give the round one test? This is online. If you have not received the confirmation email with the details to attempt the round one, please write to us on our email address. I had registered for the challenge, received confirmation, didn't link. Again, I've answered this. Do we get help to figure out how to use the data properly? So we will do an open house before the start of the proof of concept, or just after starting the proof of concept round. We will not be talking about how to use the data properly, but there may be some suggestions from some of our mentors and experts in terms of how you can use some tips and tricks in order to build the proofs of concept models that you're building. But specifically on data usage, you'll have to have that understanding already. Work with the faculty or somebody who can also guide you. You can try that as well, as you attempt this. Will you please elaborate over the proof of concept? This is code building, actual theory into action. You'll have to build an AI model that will help predict the air quality index or heat wave occurrences. So it's an actual code that you will write, and at the end of the code there will be an application which will eventually predict the measures of AQI and the possibilities of heat wave occurrences during the period of test, which is Jan to December 23. Can we present other sustainable climate change challenge? I'm not sure, Harshit, what you're talking about. If there are other challenges, I'm sure you can participate, but I'm not exactly sure. Sudeep, I don't know if you are reading this differently, but I don't know how else I can answer this.
So I think Harshit is referring to other use cases in climate change. So for now, we are focused only on AQI and heat wave prediction. So yeah, moving ahead. Nitish Kumar, completing 1 and 2 rounds, but I did not complete HR round. I'm not sure, is this in reference to this challenge, Nitish?
Yeah, I'm going to dismiss that question. It's not relevant, I feel.
Vaishnavi, can you say what type of questions will be asked in round 1? Already answered. Can I get the recording? Recording would be available in the resources tab on the website. Should the solution be restricted only to prediction? I think we have already answered this. So skipping where the rounds will happen. Everything is virtual. Right from your MCQ, that is round 1 till the POC round, everything is virtual. Can people not graduating 23, 24, 25 can people not graduating in 23, 24, 25 who are already graduate participate? No, we are focusing on the student population, either graduate or PG programs. All right, can you tell, okay, do we get a participant? Okay, that is already answered. Only aim of this challenge is to work with Telangana to reduce AQI, heat wave and emission of carbon by. So Telangana, those 5 tier 2 cities are the test environments. That's where, your model would have to be tested and the data available, etc. So it is not limited to Telangana. Definitely, it can be, replicated to the rest of the world as well. Okay, what would be the cutoff marks for round 1? Already answered. So moving ahead, will all participants already answered? Moving ahead, where do we get the link for round 1? Round 1 assessment, again, the link would be in an email which would be sent to you. If you have already registered, the email should have reached your team leader. If not, write back to us at tam@nasscom.in, and we're happy to respond. Of this channel, very excited. Okay, great, Nishant. Sir, only aim of this challenge is to work with. No, already answered. I have not yet received any login ID. Shuga, if you have just registered, just give it some time. You should receive your email. If you have not by tomorrow afternoon, write to us. Okay, duration of round one. Your round one needs to be completed by the 20th of January. Deadline, sir, what is timeline for round one on 20th? So, that's the same answer again. Round one deadline is 20th, end of the day, which is 12:59 p.m. Will there be any meeting after round one for discussion or the last meeting to interact? So, for next round, which is the approach note round, again, we'll have a knowledge sharing session for you. So for now, you just focus on round one and clear that. How would we submit our solution code or AI model and website or app or physical working model? Great question. That's something we'll answer for you as we reach there in round three. Can we? Okay, result of MC. When we will get the result? It is by the 28th of January. Only team leader has to give the test. So we have already answered that, Pallavi. It's yes, I mean, as a team, you need to respond to that. Only one MCQ per team, or rather one assessment per team. Which topics for MCQ we have responded? It is important to have BTech, BE degrees. No, we are not saying that. We are saying students either in graduate or PG courses passing out of 23, 24, 25 can attempt this. Only building an ML model or creating web app. So that's something we can talk about when we reach that round, which is round three. Solution is again, same thing. Sir, can I get the recording? Recording would be available in the resources section. Could you please give a suggestion to participate together when team members are not present at the same place for round one, as tab switching is not allowed? As mentioned, yes, there might be a bit of a challenge, but you know how to figure that out. One of you has to attempt the question and others can join in over phone or like Praveen suggested. Already registered my team before getting into the seminar. You will get the response by tomorrow midday. The data sets provided for weather data, pollutants, etc., are not consistent.
I'll answer that, Sudeep. So
yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean by consistent, but these are different data sets that are provided to you. We believe there is a strong relationship or attribution for some or all of these data sets to the desired prediction model. So I'm not sure what you mean by consistency, but they could be very, very relevant to the desired objectives. So that answers the question.
All right, next one is, do we have a bounded time for the exam? So you mean the MCQ round? Yes, like Praveen mentioned, it's a 1 hour time given to respond to those MCQ questions. And MCQ, multiple choice, you need to choose the right answer. Moving ahead, can graduates of year 2021 participate in this contest? It is only applicable to students who are studying right now, either in graduation or PG, passing out of 23, 24, and 25. That's for Chandra Prakash. When we have already made a group, I'm not sure what is your question, Vanshika. Maybe you can type again. Saurabh Pandey sir only, okay, responded.
No, that has been addressed, yeah.
Okay, okay. Will we be assigned any mentor for shortlisting after shortlisting? No, the mentor assignment would happen once you have reached the top. Once you have presented your POC and reached the top 5, that's when mentors would be provided to you. That's responded. Okay, as we working
just again to add to that, it's not like mentors will be assigned to teams individually. These will be mentors who will be coming in the form of open houses, and they will be interacting with the teams, and you may have a chance to ask your questions. So it will be let's say in a one-to-many setting or a few-to-many setting, many being students and few being mentors. There's a question on so since some of the teammates may not have knowledge in AI or ML? What sort of mentorship do we get? Do we have a course, or can you explain? So at this stage, we will not be providing any particular mentorship as such as a part of the challenge. However, courses wise, I'm sure there are many courses that are available either through your college or university, or there are also several freely available courses on the internet. Coursera and Udemy are great platforms. Also, we would strongly recommend you to consider looking at NASSCOM's Future Skills Prime platform, with a lot of different courses that are available, and you may want to subscribe into some of those courses. Sudeep, I'll continue and give you a breather. You may want to get a glass of water.
Sure, I'm
for
just
yourself.
sharing the Future Skills Prime link.
Yeah, that would be great. I'll go on. Anonymous attendee asks, we need to implement UI-based application or just implement model for prediction. So I mean, put your best foot forward, whatever you think, will really dazzle the evaluators, the jury. So if you think, having a UI-based application as well in place would be effective, because it's really about, showcasing your solution, putting your best foot forward. So we'll let you decide that. Is ML model enough instead of AI if I get necessary solution? If you think machine learning is sufficient enough for you to be able to predict or get the prediction model right, sure. I mean, there are several underlying technologies within AI, but if machine learning itself is sufficient, then, there's no said rule that you got to use a certain type of technology. So you can decide for yourself. Can the jury member's decision be on case two's favor if these are the conditions? Done as per requirement, both the problem solve both problems, and some extra solutions given. Yeah, I think it'll really get you, a favorable position if you are not only addressing the requirements of this challenge, but even going beyond. I think anywhere in any context, not just this challenge, it's a great practice to go over and beyond what is expected, and you will really do well. So go ahead and do more than what is expected. That'll be perfect. Karthik asks, UI-based applications. Again, same question. Karthik had answered this before, so hopefully you had the answer there. Sainath asks, what should be the exact input for the model? Can you elaborate on it? Is it month on month with some other features? So we can't tell what the exact input for the model is expected to be. This is not a, how do I say, I mean, just as much as there is an MCQ, there is a certain answer to a question. This is very open-ended, and we expect you to make sense of the data that has been provided. Maybe there is other data publicly available, so you can decide for yourself as to what sort of inputs should be fed into your model. But the prediction frequency for the months from Jan to December 2023 is expected to be on a month-on-month basis. This is something which is there on the website as well. Proof of concept is GUI based or not? GUI based would be ideal, preferred. Yes, why not? Where can I find the recorded session? It's on the website. You can find within the next 1 to 2 days, it'll be uploaded. Where to for the query, please write to us on taim@nasscom.in. Feel free to write to us. Harinath asks, sir, our work is only for about the prediction of the heat waves and air quality index. Yes, that is the expected ask of this challenge. Email for further query, I have already just mentioned within 30 seconds ago. Prince asks, where is the link to solve MCQ question? This should be in your email address or your team representative's email address. Please reach out to your team representative and check the inbox. If you have not received it within the 24 hours of signing up, please write to us. I've answered the question, which I think is a repeat. I'm going to skip those questions. My phone number, I'm sure I would be happy to share, but I think, it's not just me working on it. There are a bunch of us who's supporting you. So an email address has been provided mainly for that. So in my absence or my inability to take the calls, between Kriti, Sudeep, and I will be aiming to respond to your emails. Feel free to write to us. As many of you might have experienced, those who have written to us, we are fairly responsive, very quick to respond. So you can expect that from us. Even pop-up in between exam is offensive as per instructions, and how can we use the screen mirroring options? I won't say as much as offensive, but it's just that, we don't expect you to be switching tabs other than for the purposes of streaming or beaming your screen to your fellow team members who are in a different location, and all of you are connected virtually. So there is no problem with that. So you can do that. Vanshika asks, sir, how do we add some other person in our group when we've already made a group? Please write to us if you have not yet taken the MCQ round or finished the MCQ. Please write to us at tam@nascom.in and including the email address and the name of the person you'd like to be added, and then we'll have that done. But please do that before you attempt the MCQs. Notifications pop up.
I think
not
you have
sure
responded.
yeah. This also, I think I've responded. What is the syllabus for round? There's no syllabus per se. This is code comprehension, and I've answered. I think Sudeep also has answered the snippets of code that will be provided, and you are expected to make sense of the code snippets and respond according to the particular MCQ question that will be there. All will be similar, 70, 75 odd questions that will be there. How many members selected from round 2 to round 3? We have not answered that, but we expect about, I think 50 to 60 teams that will be building the proofs of concept. But we will decide that when we get there, but that's the expected number. So as you can see, the funnel and the narrowness of the selection will increasingly get very, very high. So very competitive challenge. We've received a lot of registrations. So I think by participating in this challenge and getting to the top teams would be no mean feat. So so I wish you well. All of us wish you well. Prajwala asks time limit for round 1. It's 1 hour as soon as you start round 1. Can we get guidance if we stuck somewhere? I would suggest reach out to a faculty member for immediate guidance if you feel that you have somebody you can reach out to, or because you're working together as a team, you should talk to each other and see. If you feel that brushing up on your Python before you attempt the MCQ, you can even do that. You should do that. Yeah, you can start through Zoom and you can have tab switching on. That is okay. I think it should not be a problem. But yeah. So there's a repeat questions coming in from the anonymous attendee, but we've answered this. Prajwala, I've answered your question on how much time is given for MCQs. I'm going to skip that. Harinath asks, team member is enough for participating for round 1. One team member is sufficient, but recommended to have all the team members so that you can do it well. Vanshika, I've answered this question on adding an additional person to your group. We use same laptop or mobile. Ideally, you should use one system. Only one attempt will be allowed for the team. So whether it is on mobile or laptop, I would recommend a laptop or a desktop instead of a mobile so that you can read the code better and attempt this better. Anonymous attendee, I was registered, got the link, but mistakenly I canceled registration. Can I still participate using that old link? If you're not able to participate using the old link, let us know, and we can advise you to sign up afresh. Any more information left? No, we've been very clear. I think we've been answering questions, but if you think there is more questions that we can answer, let us know. My friend will get his online degree from Liverpool University in 2023. Does that make him eligible? This is primarily a challenge geared for Indian students. But we don't want to discourage your friend to not join. We can take that decision, but I think we can allow for that. Should not be a problem. PowerPoint file in which we have all the process in case students skip any information. So I think pretty much what Sudeep, my colleague, has shared in this webinar has been recorded. So it is available in the recording. So in many ways, the recording itself will cover the PowerPoint file. So you should be able to check that and refer to that in the future. When will be the exam be conducted? It's live. Sai Dikshit, it's available. As soon as you sign up, you should get the MCQ link, and you can take that MCQ link before the 20th of Jan. BTech second year, can I participate? Yes, you can participate. Is there negative marking? There is no negative marking per se. Yeah. Is it an internship or a course for learning? This is not an internship, or it's not a course for learning. It's a practical way for you to address a social problem, which is around climate change. And hopefully you would have, you'll get the chance to apply your skills that you picked up in theory or in other external courses, and get a chance to work on a real problem that a lot of governments are aiming to solve for. Vanshika's question has been answered. Negative marking bit has also been answered. At MCQ bit exact date, you can attempt by 20th Jan. Prince, hopefully that's clear. How many teams have registered? We'll not be able to announce this yet because the signups and the registrations have not been completed yet. It is live until the deadline, which is the 20th of Jan. Can I go with Java? I don't learn Python. I think the code comprehension will only be on Python. So hence, I think you will be at a disadvantage if you don't know Python for this particular challenge, I'm afraid. And also the subsequent rounds will have a Python-based environment, and hence, it's for your benefit if you or your team members are familiar with Python, it will make it easier for you. Rasesh Gautam, thank you for your session. You're welcome, Rasesh. What's the cutoff mark? This has been answered. This is no particular cutoff mark. It's all relative marks or relative ranking. Rohit asks, we want to remove one member from our team. Please write to us, tam@nasscom.in, and we'll do that. We'll help you out. Okay, Sai Dikshit asks, I missed the start of the webinar. You will get a chance to view the recording, Sai Dikshit. It will be uploaded on the website, which is on the chat. So again, I repeat it, it's TAIM-GC.in/climate-change. Kriti, if you can type that out in the chat, Sai Dikshit, you can refer to that. Yeah, I think we're pretty much done with all the questions. Thank you very much, students. We appreciate your interest. We answered nearly about 250 plus questions, but I'm sure there are more questions. There could be more questions after. So if you feel that the microsite or this webinar recording hasn't helped you, feel there's something beyond, feel free to write to us at tam@nasscom.in. There are a few hands raised. I would recommend that you ask your question in the Q&A. Maybe we can wait for another 2 minutes, Sudeep, I think, and then we can wrap this up.
Absolutely.
Okay, so no further questions, I suppose. Thank you, students. Thank you for staying behind. I see about 120 plus of you who still logged in. Appreciate your interest and wanting to know more about this challenge. Again, if you feel free, if you feel the need to review what was discussed today, you can visit the website as well as this webinar recording, which we'll aim to put on the website within the next 1 or 2 days. But all the very best to all the student teams. We are rooting for your success. We really are very keen to understand which of y'all will go further through the rounds. But as has been told by the various panelists today, the very fact that you have made the first step in attempting to solve this problem statement is itself half the victory. Of course, there's going to be a lot of learning along the way and during the course of your student and professional journey. But instances like these, we hope, will provoke you into solving real problems, and at the same time also put that thought in you or instill that thought in you to consider starting up in the process, because everything that you will do will be like how you will be in a startup. And hopefully this will be a fun challenge for all of you. All the very best on behalf of the Telangana AI mission and my team at NASSCOM. Thank you, and we look forward to the next opportunity to interact with all of you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.